Good evening. We're going to call the meeting for Akron City Council to order at this time. Our clerk will read the roll.
Bolden.
Aye.
Boys.
Aye.
Connor. Davis.
Aye.
Shazier.
Present.
Fusco. Garrett.
Present.
Hannah.
Aye.
Kamer. Lombardo.
Aye.
McKittrick.
Aye.
Omobian.
Aye.
Somerville.
Aye.
All members are present.
For those who voluntarily wish to do so, would you please stand at this time as we are led in prayer by Pastor Alicia Colvin, who serves as the Associate Pastor of New Hope Baptist Church. Immediately following our prayer, I'm going to ask if Councilman Kamer will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let us bow our heads either to pray or to reflect. Gracious Creator, we gather here today with gratitude for the opportunity to serve this community. We thank you for the blessings of this city. We thank you for the people of this city. We thank you for the diversity and its shared hopes for a better future. Grant us wisdom in our deliberations, compassion in our decisions, and respect in our dialogue. May we listen with open hearts, open minds, speak with integrity, and act with courage. Let us not be judgmental of others, but let us hear others. Always keeping in mind the well-being of all who call this city home. Bless those who serve and protect, those who teach and heal, and all who work daily to uplift our neighborhoods. Help us to be mindful of the trust placed in these people on today. Bless each and every person here on today. Help them to lead with justice, fairness, and humility. We just ask that you would just be present, that you would just let every ear hear, and every mouth, oh God, that needs to be spoken, that the right words would just come out. May the efforts today bring light, progress, and peace to those who stand before you today and to the community. Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The minutes from our previously held meeting have been provided. Are there any additions or corrections?
Motion to approve. Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
The motion to approve the minutes passes 13-0.
We'll now move to our public comment period. Going to ask the two individuals who signed up if you'll please stand at this time so that you may be sworn in by our clerk.
Could you please raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you give will be the truth? If so, please say, I do. Thank you.
Thank you. Just going to ask when you hear your name, please approach the podium and you'll have 3 minutes to speak to this body. And we're going to begin with Reverend Dr. Joyce Penfield.
I have copies for afterwards. Good evening. Last month, several of us in Akron joined together with 700 others in the United States for a 40-day fast for Gaza with 2 demands: to stop the forced starvation of Gazans and to stop arming Israel. Today's the 32nd day of our fast. You can come and support us by giving public witness to Palestinian freedom every Tuesday in front of the federal building from 4 to 5:30. Also tonight at 7 p.m., there's a protest against the war with Iran. Some may think that Palestine has little to do with our daily life in Akron. Since our president, without congressional approval, just joined the Israeli government in attacking Iran, we will be directly impacted without any doubt. We must act now to say no to this act of international aggression against Iran. Wars always hurt the innocent. Iran has already agreed to close the Strait of Hormuz. That's where the oil goes through. We must get this violence stopped. 180 of 190 states in the United Nations agree with the Palestinian right to self-determination, and that's 95% of the world. Why is our government putting itself in harm's way for a foreign government which commits war crimes with no accountability and genocide that we see live streamed? Why have we taken funding from Medicaid and schools and given Israel $39.2 billion of weapons to bomb, kill, and torture? Shame on us. We are not innocent bystanders. We are orchestrators with weapons and laws and policies that perpetuate evil. And now, a new version of war crimes: forced starvation of Gazans and killing of those waiting in line for a small box of food, who are killed by drones and tanks. Have you kept count? 50 to 70 killed per day. We must say no to starving Gaza and to arming Israel. I'm old enough to remember the lies my government told me about Vietnam and about Iraq, having weapons of mass destruction. I have in the car my sign that says "No War in Iraq," 2003. Do not fall for the lies you will be fed. There are some facts to help us along the way. One, Iran has no nuclear weapons and no capability to rapidly make them. They have been harnessing nuclear energy for peace and medicine. Tulsi Gabbard testified that Iran had no weapons. Why do reporters keep using the line about Iran's nuclear capability? Because for decades, Netanyahu has said over and over and over, they might have weapons, they have weapons. Does any country in the Middle East have nuclear weapons? Yes, Israel. Israel has at least 90 nuclear warheads, and some estimate enough material for 200. We don't know for sure because Israel will not allow inspections. Who'd allow inspections? Iran. Who signed the joint treaty for prohibition of nuclear weapons? Iran, with 90 other countries. I have many others to share with you, but I've reached my time. I brought my own timer. So thank you. Just take a stand, please. I have more details here.
Okay, thank you, Reverend Penfield. Autumn Riddle.
All right. Every 30 days, I come here to speak. Last week, I was 2 days short of it being 30 days, so I was denied. 2 people spoke, just like tonight, too. The meeting was adjourned at 6:45. That may have been record-breaking. I don't understand why we have to wait 30 days when the 10 allotted spots are not even being filled weekly. I'd like to address a few things tonight. When Brian Lucey spoke last, he showed pictures of the mayor with a banner behind him saying "Abolish the police, justice for Jayland Walker." He tried to make it seem as if the mayor was part of this photo op. As much as I cannot stand Shamus, I will not, not standing for his word or standing up for what's right, I'm not gonna let Lucy paint a narrative about him that's not true. The mayor had no idea we were behind him with that banner while he was speaking. Just like the Rodney Hinton statements, he tried to make it seem as if we wanted violence when we're just screaming we want justice. Fusco, last week, you said if we speak, you guys are here to listen. That's not true. You don't care what we say. When I spoke up and brought pictures of who the FOP had here on 12/16, you didn't even care to look at the pictures. You took the stack and you passed it along. Didn't even care to take a pile out. With that being said, Madam President, has anybody looked into Tango 22? Does anybody not see a problem with Lucy bringing the killers of Mohammed Estefan, Jayland Walker, and Mike Jones? Is this what you guys condone? Lombardo, you've called me out outside and asked me to be quiet. You don't reply to emails, so who's even here for us? I'm very disappointed in the quiet members that just sit back. McKittrick, you just jumped on the bandwagon. You're another one. We can't wait to get up out that seat. Amobian, I'm sorry. I know your time's almost up, but last week, as you were being addressed by one of those 2 speakers, you rolled your eyes and scrolled on your phone as if you're forced to be here. I'm disappointed in all the actions that I've seen since I've started coming to these meetings in December of 2024. You know what's coming to these meetings have got me? Constantly being criticized, harassed by APD. They constantly drive past my house, my mom's house, and my sister's house. They posted posted me and my sister on their Facebook page, the FOP recorded by Brian Lucy. Now I have random cars sitting outside my house. I've called the mayor's office, left a message with the FOP, spoke with the chief for it to be taken down. The chief said he can have my house patrolled as if that would make me feel safe. The same officers that already drive past my house are actually being told to. No thanks. All that makes me think about is it's one of the 50 officers that were on scene who killed Jalen Walker down the street from my house. Or maybe officers on scene for Mike Jones or Jasmine. That's more scary than anything. We're tired of backpedaling, tired of the disrespect. The council has been trying to
Hold on,
silence
I'm so
us and make
sorry.
us feel like we aren't getting anywhere. We're made to
time
seem
is
like
up.
we're the bullies. Meanwhile, we are the ones being bullied. I'm not gonna go anywhere. We won't be silent. We will give the same respect that we receive. Justice for Jasmine Tucker.
Thank you, Autumn. Thank you. We want to thank those who took the time to come down to participate. That concludes our public comment period for this evening. Council, before you is the consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second? Second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
The consent agenda passes 13-0.
We'll now move to old business, planning and economic development. Councilman Fusco.
Time on the agenda.
Time will be granted. Public service, Councilman Kamer. Time will be granted. Public safety, Councilman Kittrick.
Continue time, please.
Time will be granted. We'll now move into new legislation, starting with rules.
Item number 1, offered by Vice President Fusco, resolution opposing the passage of Ohio General Assembly House of Representatives Bill 335, which would eliminate the acquisition of funding for certain local government entities and public institutions necessary for the continued operation of vital public services through inside millage and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Kittrick,
The committee's report is favorable. We're asking for suspension of the rules.
are there any objections to suspension of the rules? Seeing and hearing none, the rules have been suspended.
I would like to yield to Vice President Fusco.
Thank you. Thank you. And I'd also like to ask that, that this be sponsored as mayor and council as a whole, as this would have extremely excessive negative impact on the city of Akron and our ability to deliver service as we do on a day-to-day basis, as our civil servants do on a daily basis. There's a proposal in the State House known as House of Representatives Bill 335 that would eliminate the inside millage, which has been approved. It's in the Ohio Constitution that you can, cities and other, I believe counties, and to a certain extent, townships, et cetera, not as much as cities, but it can have, it's unvoted on 10%, excuse me, 10 mills can be levied on property. And the rest of the millage that we see in our real estate tax bills are actually voted upon. But the state of Ohio, realizing that cities have to have a means to collect tax in order to operate, it's within the Constitution that 10 mills are permitted. In the city of Akron, we are a charter city. It's 10.5 mills. And what does that mean to us here in the city of Akron? What it means is in terms of our general fund, which, and I'd also like to thank Mike Wheeler and the finance folks, Steve Fricker et al., for getting this information. But out of our 10.5 mills that we currently have, 2.8 mills that you pay in real estate property tax goes to fund the emergency medical services. Okay, police pension 0.3, debt service 0.2, fire pension 0.3, debt service 0.42, and the general fund is 6.48. Which goes toward the general and police operating. That's about $25 million that we would lose altogether in terms of if this would be voted on by the State House, which you got to think that it's not constitutional, that they can't just change the Ohio Charter, but apparently there's those that believe they can. That would mean just over $40 million to our funds that we would be without, not even discounting schools and other entities out there. Even in terms of counties, they utilize these funds for the inside millage for a number of the services that we see all the time that provide for those that are needy. And so if this would be eliminated statewide, it would have an amazingly bad impact on finances and delivery of services. In terms of teachers, we could see hundreds of teachers laid off throughout the state. So with that, again, I'd like to propose that this is be offered by mayor and council as a whole. Thank you, council.
Thank you, Councilman Fusco. Is there a motion? Councilman McKittrick?
Motion for mayor and council as a whole?
Is there a second? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
This resolution passes 13-0. Item number 2, offered by Lombardo, ordinance authorizing the mayor or his designee to enter into a contract or contracts with the Akron International Soapbox Derby for the city of Akron to provide funding for operational support for planning and implementation of the 2025 Akron International Soapbox Derby and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Lombardo?
The committee's report is favorable, and we're asking for a suspension of the rules.
Are there any objections to suspension of the rules? Seeing and hearing none, the rules have been suspended.
Nothing further.
Thank you. The rules have been suspended, and the committee's report is favorable. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
This ordinance passes 13-0. Item number 3, offered by Lombardo, ordinance authorizing the mayor or his designee to enter into a contract or contracts without the formality of publicly advertising for bids with Power Engineers Incorporated for the completion of a new phase of the city's special assessment system and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Lombardo?
The committee's report is favorable, and we're asking for a suspension of the rules.
Are there any objections to suspension of the rules? Seeing and hearing none, the rules have been suspended.
Nothing further.
Thank you. The rules have been suspended, and the committee's report is favorable. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
This ordinance passes 13-0. Item number 4, offered by Lombardo, ordinance authorizing the mayor or his designee to accept and expend a grant from the city's Financial Empowerment Fund and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Lombardo?
Consent agenda, please.
This item will be placed on the consent agenda.
Item number 5, offered by Lombardo, ordinance authorizing the mayor or his designee to enter into a contract or contracts for services related to developing and/or facilitating a 3-year pilot program to advance eligible residents' access to legal counsel and reduce barriers to acquiring legal representation and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Lombardo?
Committee's report is favorable, and we're asking for a suspension of the rules.
Are there any objections to suspension of the rules? Seeing and hearing none, the rules have been suspended.
Nothing further.
The rules have been suspended, and the committee's report is favorable. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
This ordinance passes 13-0. Item number 6, offered by Fusco, ordinance authorizing a conditional use to install a high-rise sign at 61 South Cyberling Street and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Fusco?
For
This item will be referred.
Item number 7, offered by Fusco, ordinance authorizing a conditional use to construct a commercial building at 1518 Copley Road and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Fusco?
For
This item will be referred.
Item number 8, offered by Fusco, ordinance authorizing a conditional use to establish a vape shop at 1328 Copley Road and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Fusco?
For
This item will be referred.
Item number 9, offered by Fusco, ordinance authorizing a conditional use to establish a vape shop at 1252 East Talmadge Avenue and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Fusco?
For
This item will be referred.
Item number 10, offered by Fusco, ordinance authorizing a conditional use to establish a dual-use marijuana dispensary at 730 West Market Street and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Fusco?
For
This item will also be referred.
Item number 11, offered by Kamer, ordinance ratifying the actions of the Director of Public Service or his designee in contracting with Butcher and Sons Incorporated for the emergency demolition of various structures and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Kamer.
Thank you, Madam President. Committee's report is favorable, and we're asking for suspension of the rules.
Are there any objections to suspension of the rules? Seeing and hearing none, the rules have been suspended.
Thank you, Madam President. This is to move forward with paying a contractor that's already done the work with demoing several structures throughout the city on an emergency basis. And with that, we're asking for passage.
Thank you. The rules have been suspended and the committee's report is favorable. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
This ordinance passes 13-0. Item number 12, offered by Kamer, ordinance authorizing the Director of Public Service or his designee to enter into a contractor contracts without the formality of publicly advertising for bids with Burgess and Nyepel, Inc. for the design of the Cuyahoga Street Storage Facility Disinfection Project and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Kamer.
Consent agenda.
This item will be placed on the consent agenda.
Item number 13, offered by Vice President Fusco, resolution formally adopting the master tree planting plan and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Kamer.
Consent agenda.
This item will be placed on the consent agenda.
Item number 14, offered by Vice President Fusco, ordinance amending and/or supplementing Title IX General Provisions, Chapter 101, Trees and Shrubs, Sections 101.12, Planting Map, and 101.14, ordering improper conditions to be remedied, notice and appeal of the codified ordinances of the City of Akron and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Kamer.
Consent agenda.
This item will also be placed on the consent agenda. That concludes our new legislation for this evening. We'll now move into committee assignments, rules. Councilman McKittrick.
2 p.m.
Public Safety, Councilman McKittrick.
2:15.
Budget and Finance, Councilman Lombardo.
3 p.m.
Parks and Recreation, Councilwoman Connor. Planning and Economic Development, Councilman Fusco. Housing and Neighborhood Assistance, Councilman Fusco. Public Service, Councilman Kamer.
2 p.m.
Health and Social Services, Councilwoman Amobian. 2:30. Is there anything else coming before this body at this time? Councilman McKittrick?
Thank you, Madam President. It's with a heavy heart that I want to mention, I ask everybody to keep Clay Cozart's family and friends in their thoughts and prayers. You know, he passed over the weekend, and he started with the city in 1995. Very dedicated public servant. I met him early in his years. It's when he was our community policing officer. I know Sharon Connor had a lot of experience through that time with him as well. Wore many hats, and he'll be sorely missed, so thank you.
Thank you, Councilman McKittrick, for sharing. We'll definitely have his family in our prayers. Councilman Lombardo?
That was exactly what I was going to say.
Exact
Just
thing.
one line item here from our chief, Brian Harding. Detective Cozart began his career with Akron Police Department in 1995 and served Akron for nearly 3 decades. He was an advocate for his fellow officers, serving as FOP president from 20 to 2023. Most recently brought his compassion and experience to the juvenile unit, where he made a lasting impact on young lives. So I thought it'd be appropriate if we can have a moment of silence for Clay.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Garrett?
Thank you, Madam President. Today I rise similar. There are 2 officers whose mother just passed away. 2 brave officers who helped protect our streets, protect and serve. Officer Clyde and also Russell. Their mother passed away. And I'd just like to let the council know that we keep that family in our prayers, and then just wishing them the best. So just wanted to share that with the council as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments at this time? We have a motion to adjourn. If there are no objections, meeting adjourned.
This concludes the live broadcast of Akron City Council. Margot Somerville, President of Council, presiding.